Well, good morning. I'm really excited because today we are breaking ground and pouring concrete for the foundation of a brand new project. A project that I've been looking forward to from day one. Meaning from the very first day that I set foot on the ground, I envisioned this project, this specific spot, and to see it coming to life today, I'm really excited. But first, let me take a minute to acknowledge the comically massive tarp that I've put up. Yes, it kind of looks like the circus has come to town or something with this tent pole here, and I've got it tied down along every grommet that I can to keep it in place. I've actually anchored it to the concrete on this spot and over here, all because the sun this time of year is just brutal. You might be surprised with us being in the foothills of the Alps here, just how hot it can get in the summer. To keep me from cooking, we've got a full, proper, hopefully permanent tarp setup, but we'll see how the winds handle it. So yes, if you can't tell, behind me we are building our permanent outdoor kitchen setup. Yes, we had a beautiful, lovely wooden structure, but that kind of got destroyed by the excavator. And we want to build something a little bit more beautiful that matches the space. So today we're going to be starting by pouring the foundation, then building up with concrete blocks and doing some really unique things. I've got my drawings here. Wait until you see the concrete blocks go up. It's a really odd shape, but it's got all kinds of wood fire storage and all the different things you need for an outdoor barbecue. But drawing things on paper and seeing things in real life is a little bit different. And as I'm standing here as to what will be the island countertop area, I'm realizing now that with the barbecue and the stove and the sink here, there's like nothing left for a prep area. It's like you can stand just barely in this corner and prep. So I'm gonna make a last minute modification and move this over to give me more space to shift the sink over and to have a prep area right around here. You want to use this hammer or do you want to use your hammer?
My hammer.
Okay, give it a try.
I'm going to break it.
So I just need to keep checking against that, which means we need to dig down a little bit over here. Who put those rocks there?
Great out here.
Thanks. It's hot.
Yeah.
Sweaty, but the shade makes all the difference.
Does it help? Oh, I'm about to get clotheslined by the clothesline.
We're gonna have to bring in a lot of fill dirt or rocks because realistically the thickness of these boards is all the concrete we need. And because the ground slopes off so much and there's this big hole from when we dug to put all of the pipes in, we'll have to scoop up all kinds of wheelbarrows of dirt and rocks and just kind of fill it in up to a certain level. Otherwise, we'll be mixing far too much concrete. This whole area needs to be filled in all the way up to the bottom of the board.
Okay.
Oh man, look how high it has to raise up.
Do we need some stones to lift it up to?
No, I'll use stakes and then.
Okay. All right, so how are things going?
Well, it took like an hour and a half longer than I thought. It turns out I should have paid more attention to geometry, getting everything square and the right size. I don't know if I just have warped boards or if I measured wrong or if I just don't know how to do geometry. I probably should have built 2 individual rectangles, gotten them square, pieced them together, then cut out the center in between. But I'm at least there. It just took too long. Now we just need to stake everything in and get everything nice and level.
So I know the house inside is not quite finished yet, so you might be wondering why we're going ahead and doing an outdoor kitchen. But I think if you've been following us for a long time, you would know that the outside is the magic here, and we want to be spending as much time outside as possible. So while I love cooking inside, it's an amazing kitchen inside. It's also nice to have a place outside where you can cook, where you can make coffee, and you can enjoy the view while you're doing that.
And also, I'm just really tired of working with wood, which I realize now half the day is cutting and working with wood. But I just wanted to break from the cabinets building and all of the furniture building. I want to work with concrete. I miss mixing concrete, which is really weird. I know. I really want to chip some stones too. We've got a stone project coming up. I might skip to that eventually. How does that dirt dig up?
Oh, this right here is like all the little pieces of stone that was chipped off. So this is like nice.
But it hasn't rained in so long. The rest of it's like concrete.
It's very, very dense underneath, and that's why I came over here to this little spot, because over there I was just like spinning my wheels. I was trying with the pickaxe and then loosening it up, but
the level on the inside of this needs to rise up, as well as we need to fill in the gap here so that concrete doesn't spill out. This whole thing was sloped quite a lot. We're just trying to get that foundation up nice and level. All right, so we have access for gas, water, electrical, sewer line. And I'm trying to make sure that we have access to all of these long term, that the concrete doesn't cover it up. I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do to cover these up in the future, because this is gonna be the bottom shelf of the inside cabinet, but probably just a simple rustic piece of wood. But that's something to figure out later on. So unfortunately this summer we've been experiencing a very long and brutal heat wave, which has led to some exhausting and very sweaty days working outside, and I've had a long history of my body just not functioning properly in extreme heat. I'll have heavy brain fog, muscle fatigue, just really exhausted. I'll even get this really weird eye twitch thing that goes on. And after 3 or 4 years of research, I finally realized that it's an electrolyte deficiency. I thought originally it was dehydration. The two are kind of closely knit, but actually the more water you drink, the less electrolytes you have. It kind of flushes them out, which then leads to dehydration, which is very confusing. Your body actually needs quite a bit of salt to be able to absorb and retain the water and actually stay hydrated. This all led me to researching and trying out about a half a dozen different electrolyte brands of mixes, and they would help a lot, but they'd be chucked full of sugar, enough to almost make your stomach sick. They'd have artificial colors in them and a bunch of other nastiness. But then about a year ago, I found and settled on Element that solved all of those problems. And then fast forward to today, and I'm super proud that they asked if they could be the sponsor of today's video. Element is a zero sugar electrolyte mix that was born out of the ever-growing body of research that shows that optimal health happens when our bodies have sodium levels 2 to 3 times what the government recommends. Every stick has a healthy dose of electrolytes completely free of sugar or artificial colors or other sketchy ingredients. Being deficient in electrolytes causes brain fatigue, muscle weakness, cramps, headaches, that weird eye twitch I talked about, but really just a general cloud of brain fog and exhaustion. If that sounds at all like you, then I would highly recommend you check out Element and see if it works for you as it has for me. The flavors are excellent. I love the raspberry salt flavor, the watermelon salt flavor, any of their citrus flavors. But between you and me, stay away from mango chili. It's truly terrible. I don't know what they were thinking making that flavor. My dad says it's his favorite, but I guess to each their own. Anyways, right now they're giving us a pretty unbeatable deal to share with you guys today. You can get a completely free sample pack of their most popular flavors with any purchase at drinkelement.com/Voyagers. Plus, the whole thing is completely risk-free because if you give it a try and you don't like it, they'll completely refund your money, no questions asked. You don't even have to mail it back, just give it away to a salty friend. So again, that's drinklmnt.com/Voyagers. Go ahead, get your free sample pack. Let me know how you like it, and thank you so much to Element for sponsoring today's video. Don't get the shovel stuck inside here. That can get really dangerous. And if it does, you let go and you step way back, okay? Oh, you got like nearly half the shovel in. Good job. There we go.
Yeah, you're much better at this.
Fell off. So usually we're working with sand that already has the aggregate mixed in and that just kind of arrives that way. But for this project I needed a mix of sand with aggregate and a lot of sand without, super fine sand. And I didn't want to have 2 tractor loads come up a beach. So I decided to buy bags of aggregate, but I severely underestimated how much aggregate was needed, and I probably have half of what I should have. But at the end of the day, it's not a road. It's gonna hold what we needed to hold just fine.
So we unfortunately have run out of aggregate, which is what makes the concrete strong. So we are kind of stealing it from the middle right now, and we're going to spread it around the edges so that we make sure we have the strong base all the way around the edges, and then we can utilize some of the random little stones and things that we have around the property to try to make our own aggregate. But at least we have that base around all of the edges to make it strong.
I think the heat got to me. I've never covered myself in concrete so much. I'm tripping over everything. And my estimations on all of this were embarrassingly far off. We've used way too much material.
I think part of it is my fault for not filling in with all the dirt and stones. I got a little bit
We now have
Tired in my
a
pursuits.
foundation thicker than the road is.
Sorry.
But that's okay.
Everything is quite a mess and chaotic out here right now, but I just can't help but think how amazing this space is going to be once we get all of the construction cleaned up and grass planted and stones put down and all of these things that we've been planning on. And we can actually sit out here and enjoy the view instead of poor Bradey just killing himself back there. I'm just really, really thankful in this moment that we are working towards something so amazing, and we are getting close. We're getting so close, and I just can't wait.
This area here is a bit peculiar. Peculiar. I can't even speak.
Peculiar?
But it's not going so well.
Sorry. Ah!
No!
I missed my hammer. Broke her. Concrete. Well, good morning. Every morning walking out with my cup of coffee, looking off into the view, seeing the sunrise, the first light hitting the churches off in the distance. Whew, what a way to start the morning. Today I'm really excited to get started with these blocks. With every new scale, it's a little bit scary and daunting, but also really exciting. I spent a lot of time last night watching YouTube videos with tips and techniques, and if anyone has their own tips, let me know in the comments, because I'm really excited to learn this technique, this process, this new skill, because if I can, which there's a big if there, it's gonna unlock a whole new opportunity for things that I can build in the future. But to be learning on something so critical, so important, what I would consider the heart of the home here with this outdoor kitchen, which is gonna be kind of the focal point of this outdoor area. I hope I can do it. Never mixed bricklaying mortar before. I think it's supposed to be pretty sloppy. There we go. Because you want to be able to get it to stick to the trowel, which I saw that if you do a little bit of a downward motion like that, it enables the gravity to kick in. This is probably a little bit on the wet side, but I expect that I'm going to be going slow. So on the wet side is probably good, gives me extra drying time. And yes, the wind did rip out one of the grommets in the tarp. I'll fix it later. This is gonna be harder than I thought. Yeah, the consistency is everything. I think I got it too wet. I did it! One down. Nice. That's very satisfying. Now there's a lot of techniques, as I was learning last night, for how to run your wall. But the one that I settled on, the one that I seemed to work the best for me, but we'll see, was to get both corners set in place first and then go back and fill in between them. Let me know if you're a professional block layer and you're currently cringing at how I place down the mortar, because I know it's just horrifically wrong. But at the end of the day, if it sticks, that's all that matters. All right, so now that we have our two corner pieces, I've run a string line at the top and along the side of the two corner bricks. And then this line will act as my guide to make sure that all of the blocks in between are in the right position. I'm not very good at this.
I've already said that.
The biggest thing is I need to learn how to mix the mortar, because it's not wanting to stick to the bricks. No, just a little bit too big. Always cut it smaller.
Shove it in there.
Shove it in there. So I think I've decided I need to add more cement to it. Not really sure though. Alright. It's still not right. Yeah, I've got a lot to learn. You're not supposed to agree with me. Oh my goodness. I'm determined to learn how to do this. But that's okay, we'll get it eventually. You want to stagger your seams, that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
My goodness, this is embarrassing. I just want to get it on the edge of the brick.
Something else.
Oh no, it doesn't fit. No! Okay, so let's get a string up. So naturally, with how messy I am with working, I lose about half the mortar to the ground. So I've just been kind of scooping it up and kind of filling in the voids and then sort of just compacting it in for extra security. But I think on the corners and maybe in the center, I'm gonna drop a piece of rebar in just to give the countertop something to grip onto. We are gonna attempt concrete countertops. So I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to actually lay out the entire first row, get the full blueprint laid, so that I can interlock in the second row. I haven't learned that far, but that makes sense to me. I think that on such a small area like this, it doesn't really matter the interlocking because, well, it's not going to topple over and I'm not exactly building a bunker here. But I just want to do things properly because this whole thing is just about learning. So, I'm going to map out the entire blueprint. So the real problem I'm having with the mortar is that no matter how hard I try, I cannot get it to stick to the brick. It's supposed to stick right to it. So all of the edges, I'm definitely not getting them solidified as good as I should be able to. But I don't know what to do. I've measured out all of the ratios for the standard way to make the mortar. I've done my best. But like I said, it'll survive a hurricane.
So how's it going?
Honestly, I think I'd be really pleased if I could just figure out how to mix the mortar properly. I've stopped many times watching different videos with different opinions on how to mix it, and I just cannot seem to get it to work. I'm curious about adding plasticizer, but it just will not stick to the bricks.
It's pretty cool to see this all coming together. It kind of reminds me of like Legos that have grown up Lego blocks right now, just kind of setting it into pieces. It's pretty cool. I don't know that Bradey's having quite as much fun as he would if you were building with Legos, but in the end, it's going to be really cool, and I'm excited to see it all come together. Did you do it?
Almost right the first time.
Nice.
Well, it's definitely a bizarre shape and structure, but this is the base footprint of the outdoor kitchen here. I know it's hard to get a sense right now, but there's lots of planned storage for firewood. These are all firewood holders as well as on the end. And it's hard to tell with this guy in the way here, but this will be where the sink is right here. You've got prep space here, and then this will be a barbecue area right there with firewood storage underneath, and a place to cook coffee right there. Thankfully, I'm about to run out of bricks, and I say thankfully because this heat is really getting the better of me. I've got 6 more bricks to go, and then I have to run to town to get more, because right now I'm transporting all of these blocks with our car, and I can only fit about 32 blocks before things start to look a little sketchy as far as the weight that the car can handle. So I've taken all of the leftover mortar, and I've really watered it down just to be able to get a nice slurry to toss in between all of the voids, just so I'm not wasting the mortar as I mixed up way too much of it, and also obviously strengthens the wall. There we go. Well, you know it's gonna be a bad one when it's only 6:15 in the morning and I'm already dripping in sweat. But at least I think I've figured out the mortar situation, which is making things go a whole lot easier. It's also way too early in the morning to use the saw. So I gotta try learning how to cut bricks like this. Nice. Well, I'm feeling so much better this morning as I'm slowly starting to get the technique right. And of course, I have years of practice before I can properly become a master at this, but just really, really excited to be adding another skill set under my tool belt. And to see it all coming together, taking shape is very, very exciting. And then there's one more skill that I have to learn, and that's how to render these walls. But one step at a time. This thing is just so impressive. That's 20 bricks. I'm guessing that's about 500 pounds of material. And you can drive it straight up a steep hill without even breaking a sweat. I think it's rated for twice that amount of weight, approximately 1,000 pounds. And I cannot imagine going through this build process without it. This thing is worth its weight in gold. Man, we're having a terrible time with horseflies that just keep dive bombing me, trying to bite me, and they're so fast. I have this nearby to try to swat them out, but I can't. I swear if I get bit by one, I'm gonna lose my mind. So instead, I've turned on this fan. It's blowing a lot of air through, trying to keep them away. So messy. Wow, well, it has been a week between the heat and learning new skills, and man, that's a lot of concrete splattered all over the lens. Sorry about that. But overall, I'm very, very thrilled with learning this new skill, how the kitchen is coming together, and to be able to make coffee in the morning outside again, hopefully very soon, is going to be very exciting. For now, here's the final look for this week. This is firewood storage here. I am missing a couple of bricks to go here. We'll have more firewood storage on this side. I'm thinking like small kindling over here. And then this barbecue area will be really unique. I'm going to have a floating piece of concrete sitting across here, which is going to be a little tricky to figure out, with built-in slots for a rack to be able to raise and lower it. Got a spot for our sink over here. All this prep station right here. There's just something so special about cooking outside. Maybe not in this heat from this week. We've had just a massive heat wave, but hopefully that passes. But with that, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.